Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. I have another guest today hidden behind the screen of technology, my curtain of technology here. So before I bring him out, I know a lot of you are really excited about this broadcast and getting to get some questions asked and answered and just kind of learning about some other really awesome quality, positive Periscope broadcasters. So I do this to help you guys find other people to watch since I'm not on 24/7. You can kind of find more quality positive broadcasters rather than just trying to search the whole world through millions of users and find some people that you like. So hopefully this makes your life a little bit easier, kind of like a Periscope TV guide. Hey Ryan, you were the first comment of the broadcast. And hey Gio, thanks for calling in last night. Thank you for inviting your followers, Brennan. And quickly, so I can bring him on, I just want to shout out everyone who has gone to femyoga.com and sponsored this channel. Go ahead and follow anyone $50 and above. Those are gold level sponsors and above, and they are the core foundation of how we can do this. The technology that you see here, all the different props and things that I use in my shows, the travel, everything we do is viewer funded. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Special thank you to all of these people. And I'm good, Ireland Kev. How are you? We are going to go ahead and bring him out if he's ready. Yes. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Boom. Hello. How are you, Dr. Fred?
Hello, how are you doing up there?
I'm good. We're actually both in New York State, which is kind of cool. I think this is my first New York split screen. So is it beautiful there? Because it is gorgeous here.
The weather is really nice today.
It is.
Perfect.
I love it. It's rare that we get this in October, so we're all in our glory over here.
It's
Hey,
been
Gemma.
warm.
So Gemma is from the UK, and I actually was just talking to her, and she's one of the people who's really excited to meet you. So before I get all sidetracked and we start talking, his name is in the broadcast title, Perry Therapy, also called Therascope, which I just love both of those names. Is there any story behind how you came up with that, or it just kind of struck you one day?
Not really. I was like among the first to actually use Periscope, and I was trying to come up with a very cool name of some sort that I could remember myself. And I came up with Therascope and Perry Therapy.
I
My
love
name's not even Perry.
it. Perry. I love it. So how did you find Periscope? You said you were one of the first people?
It seemed to be just easy to use and just to like get right on, and all you needed was your phone and maybe a tripod, and that's where we started. We have like higher tech at the moment, but
Hmm.
it was so easy to do. I just gave it a shot, and it was interesting, and it's a
Yeah.
good way to reach out to the public with good information.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks for the thank you.
Oh, thank you for the super hearts, everyone, Mike and Gemma. But I wanted to shout you out and kind of thank you because I've watched some of your scopes and I think they're awesome. Like he said, the tech is great, and also just when you guys do the panels. So he'll actually bring on like 3 other psychologists. I don't know, are they in your practice or are they from other
Yeah,
practices?
so we have like 10 therapists, about half psychologists and some social workers and a marriage and family therapist, and whoever's around. Basically, we do have some regulars. On Friday we have Carla Bernstein, who's a child psychologist. So yeah, sometimes we have a panel of everybody in 360, which gets crazy. But yeah, whoever's around and whoever can do it consistently, we answer questions. We start a topic and then we answer questions about the topic, basically. And then I
Yeah.
have a secret that
You,
if you check us out, we do tarot card readings and angel cards and a little bit of oracle work, but that's sort of underground a little bit.
yeah, I saw that. The last scope that you did,
Oh,
I
you
think,
did?
was slightly psychic psychologist or something.
Exactly.
I love
That's
that.
unannounced. Our regular scopes are Monday at 1:30 and Friday at 1:30
Okay, and that's Eastern time, New York.
Eastern Standard Time.
Exactly. Yes. Paul loves your shirt.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm trying to catch the. There we go. Thank you, Paul Emack. How you doing? Mrs. Shaker Ali 333. Hello. And I really thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure. I've watched your scopes as well. They're lovely. I like when you read books. I saw the whisper reading, which is kind of cool and unusual. So I'm a big fan.
Yeah, that's actually, I have a ton of questions for you, but I just wanted you to kind of give you some feedback with that ASMR, the whispering that I've been doing. It's totally new to me. I just found it on Periscope and started doing it a few months ago. And I have had amazing feedback from people with anxiety, PTSD, insomnia. I mean, people who have severe PTSD and insomnia that
Right.
nightmares almost every night, and they'd never heard of ASMR. And once they found me doing that, they were sleeping like 6 hours a night, cutting back to 1 cup of coffee instead of four, just from the whispering. Like that was the only thing that changed.
It's very engaging and yet relaxing at the same time. So I caught like one or two of those about 2 months ago, maybe more actually. Is that when you started that?
It was probably further back than that. It was,
Further.
I don't even know, honestly, how long it's been. I would say at least 4 months or so.
It definitely gets your attention.
Yes, thank you, Ina Klein, for saying that you love it. And hello to someone, I missed your name, I'm sorry. Darcy. Hello, Darcy. I haven't seen you in a while. Gio says ASMR can be thought of as therapy, especially for those who get depressed a lot and have insomnia. Well, thank you. And Gemma
Great.
said she's having trouble with sleep, so we can maybe touch on that a little bit. But I want to quickly just go back to the panel and say one thing that I love about that so much is seeing the female doctors. So I appreciate you for getting, you have the male and female perspective, and that's really, it's a nice balance, and it's cool to see, the different brains, the way the different male and female brain works. And I just enjoy that a lot because I try to.
If you check our website, you could see that we have mostly female psychologists, actually. There's
Ah,
like 6 or 7 female psychologists and 2 or 3 of us male psychologists.
okay. And what's the difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist?
I'm so glad you asked that. So, a psychiatrist is a medical doctor first. They go to medical school and then they specialize in psychiatry. They do like a residency in psychiatry. The major difference is they prescribe medications and we do not. We can recommend medications, but we can't prescribe them. A psychologist has more background in testing and evaluation, therapy, diagnosing people with different disorders, and providing like the right kind of therapy for the person. So it's a little bit more clinical, and they'll spend more time on a weekly basis with the client.
Awesome.
And in an ideal world, we work together and we like cooperate, and we rely on them for the medication issues. They rely on us for the testing issues. So if you find a good combination of those two, not that everybody needs meds, by the way, but if you do, and it's a severe problem, if they coordinate care, people almost always will improve. So it's a good combination. That's the
Awesome.
basic difference.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And Sapphire Song 91 says, "Hi, Fred."
Hi, Sapphire Song. She's a pal of ours and a loyal follower of our scopes. So
Oh,
thank you for joining.
yes, thank you for being here. My normal crew is like all up in the middle of the night, so I'm glad that some of your people can be here too.
Oh yeah.
Hello, G Pizzle. And if you had to guess, I don't know if you have this stat, down to a percentage, but if you had to guess roughly how many of your clients you recommend meds for, or, either you personally or as a practice.
I can definitely guess that. I would say approximately 25% of the clients either are taking some kind of medication or at some point would need medication. It's an approximation. Not everybody needs meds, and we're certainly conservative. As psychologists, we're conservative about medication. We try everything else first, more or less, especially with anxiety disorders. But when someone is suffering and like they're not able to benefit from the psychotherapy, either because of overwhelming anxiety or terrible depression, or so we would recommend meds. So we're conservative, but when it's necessary and appropriate, it's a life changer. In addition to like attention deficit disorder type issues, if it's severe, if it's necessary, we would right away recommend it.
Okay, awesome. I like to hear that. Uh-oh, now I can hear myself. Let's see.
We're good on this end, but
Let's see. Okay. No, I can hear myself for echoing. I don't know if they can hear an echo. Oh, wait, maybe it's gone. Maybe it is a Google Hangouts thing, but it doesn't usually happen too much, and it's not happening right now, so we're just gonna act like it's not happening at all.
I'm shifting
And
the microphone. I moved my microphone a little bit if it's on my end, but
all right, I think we're
we're
okay.
good here.
Yay, good.
Everything.
You talked about some of the specialties that they have. You talked about like a marriage counselor, child psychologist. Do you have a specialty that you specialize in?
Yes. So my license plate on my car says panic doctor. So my specialty is panic disorder, phobias, and anxiety related disorders. I focus mostly now on teenagers, like from 14 to all the way up to age 25. That high school to college transition, especially in the United States, is very, very stressful. So those are my specialties. The other people in the practice specialize in marital counseling or testing and evaluation or phobias. So mine is anxiety disorders and panic disorder.
Okay. I have a question about that, but yeah, you see
Do you mind
Paul's
if I,
question?
yeah, do you mind if I read your questions that are on your fans
Of
or
course. Yeah,
I
go
find
for
a
it.
lot of people these days from the internet? There's a yes. I mean, we advertise on something called Psychology Today, and our website is kind of prominent and it's out there and it's like very informative and transparent. So yes, we get like, I don't know, maybe 10% of our clients directly from the internet. And if not, when somebody calls, we refer them to the website for some good background information before they even come in. So the internet and social media has become pretty integral to the practice.
Definitely. That's awesome. Becca says she has really
Hola,
bad anxiety.
hola, ¿qué tal? That's that's
Yes.
that's the extent of my Spanish right there. Audio on our end, audio is good. Just to let you know.
Yeah, it sounds good now. I think maybe I was talking over you, so it was trying to listen to you and me at the same time. I wanted to go back to what you were talking about, panic disorders, phobias. Do you use cognitive behavioral therapy there at all?
That is the main thing that we do. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. That's the main like technique, so to speak. But we also kind of mix in humanistic psychology, which is basically giving someone positive, like unconditional positive regard so they feel comfortable. The different psychologists and social workers have different backgrounds. ¿Cómo está usted? Bien, bien. ¿Y tú? So like we have different styles and different backgrounds, but what we do share is CBT, severe
Awesome.
PTSD. That's a lot of stuff. The thing to start with all those disorders is work on the anxiety first, because the anxiety is very workable, very easy to address. Not easy, but it's doable. There's techniques we can give you right now to at least deal with the anxiety. Same here. Your anxiety is freaking me out. Eine kleine tweet. That means one tweet or something. Anyway,
Oh, interesting. I never knew what his name
yes.
meant.
So Bronxilla knows exactly what he's talking about. Aaron Beck, Albert Ellis, Stoic philosophy. Yep, Epictetus. Wow, you're good stuff. I went to Hofstra University in here in Long Island, New York. It's a place. I'm reading all your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you
Somebody's,
mentioned
how
Angel
do you
said,
get by?
oh, go ahead.
So if I can just like refer to my website, it's pslongisland.com, pslongisland.com. And there's free stuff about anxiety and relaxation. So if you scroll down to the anxiety section, there's a million different relaxation techniques. There's no obligation, there's no emails, just go look at it.
Awesome.
And one small tweet. I knew it meant one tweet. Does string cheese help? Yes, it does.
Yes, definitely.
Where the New York Mets supposedly play, if you can call it that. Yes. Have you guys ever had? No, we have not.
Do you,
I mean,
Angel said her anxiety is over the top today. Do you have any, oh, actually, also, if you want to comment in the broadcast, if your link is clickable right from your bio, they can click right into it right now rather than typing
yes,
it
it
in.
is. The link
Um,
is there.
okay,
The
awesome.
website is right
Awesome.
there.
So,
Yes, they do play.
yes, and Angel said her anxiety is over the top today. So, do you have any techniques that you, maybe just one technique that you want to give? Maybe it's
Sure.
on the website, but just in case.
I can, if it's on the website, it means I wrote it, so I should know it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start with the simplest technique in the whole world. Are you ready?
Mhm.
It's a breathing technique, and perhaps Taylor knows all about this. So all you do, very simply, is you say a word to yourself when you breathe out. Okay, any word at all. So I use the word one because it's like kind of meaningless and centered. So every time you breathe out, you say a word to yourself. All that does, because when we're anxious, our breathing becomes irregular. It's irregular when you are anxious. It's not necessarily deep or shallow or fast. It's irregular. So if you regulate your breathing, you are automatically regulating your heartbeat, your blood pressure, your pulse. That is the simplest technique. You could start with that. I have other techniques. Would you like to hear some other ones, or?
Sure, yeah, let's go for it. It seems like a lot of people in the room could benefit from this.
Cool. Yeah, it's like a no-brainer, and it's guaranteed. Like, unlike most things in psychology, it's guaranteed to work. Yeah, you have to exhale as well. Don't forget that. Psychiatrists recommend ASMR, not so much that I know of. So anyway, so breathing techniques, regulating your breathing. Then visualization is a big thing. Visualization. So basically, you close your eyes and you visualize. Yeah, like a mantra. You visualize something very relaxing, and you have to personalize it. So let's say it's the beach. So you visualize yourself sitting at the beach, sitting in the sand, and you use all of your senses. You use the sense of smell, the sense of taste, like you can feel, imagine the sun on your face, imagine what the clouds look like, imagine the smell of suntan lotion or the sand in your toes. If you do that, you kind of remove yourself from the situation and center yourself. And along with the breathing, you've already lowered your blood pressure by 10%. It works every single time if you practice and if you do it. Like a waterfall. Sure, it can be anything you want. It can be a walk in the forest, but you have to use all 5 of your senses while you're doing this breathing technique. And then the thing I would add to that is a muscle relaxation technique, which it's explained on the website, but basically you tense a set of muscles for like 10 seconds and then you relax. And then you flex a set of muscles for 10 seconds, and then you relax. You're physically relaxing your body. It has to work. It's guaranteed to work if you do it and if you practice.
Yes, we use all of that in yoga for sure. And I know there's new comments coming in, but I have some old ones that came in while you were talking that are pretty good. Gemma said, they're all good, by the way. Gemma said, I was referred for CBT, although I'm not sure that's what I actually received, to be honest.
Interesting. I love Flash. I watch Flash all the time. He's the best. So I guess the way you can distinguish CBT, did you say? The way to know that it's CBT. So it's the basic theory that your thoughts affect your emotions. It's kind of obvious in a way. Psychology is like proving the obvious. So if your psychologist is talking about the way you think and ways to use positive affirmations, or the way your style of thinking, or the way you or what you say affects how you feel, it's probably cognitive therapy. It's a kind of a broad term. So CBT is kind of research based. It is proven to work. So there's some confidence there. If they give you like homework to do that examines your thoughts or your feelings, probably CBT. It may not be good CBT. I don't know what your therapist is saying, but that's some of the ways to know that it's CBT.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. And Paul says,
Sure.
what do you think of the saying, just pull yourself together?
It's not so good because of lately there's a lot of consciousness about mental disorders of all kinds, as you know. Like there's the whole 1 in 4 movement, and I think yesterday was National Mental Health Day, or maybe it's today, I don't know. But you can't just wish away a problem, and you can't say get over it. Or the worst thing that someone with anxiety disorders wants to hear is just relax. It's don't worry about it, get over it, don't worry. That's the worst thing you could say to someone with a problem, because by the time they're talking about a mental problem, it's more serious than that. They know to just relax. They know to just get over it. Everybody knows that. So I'm not so keen on that expression. It's talking about do charts and stuff. Just end up. Yeah, you don't want to get to, hi Sonam, how are you? She's the best, Sonam. 108. How are you today? I don't use a lot of homework and charts in therapy. It can be really good to analyze thoughts and stuff. Hug therapy is pretty cool, but your lawyer's against it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
Random hug therapy to strangers on the bus. I love that.
Yeah.
How long have you been a psychologist?
More years than I would like to admit.
Okay.
28 years. 28 years I've been a psychologist. So I've been around. I've been doing it a while.
And what got you into it?
That's a long story. Okay, so I got to say that like my mother loves people. She's just a people person. She just loves to talk to people. She loves to know their stories. And I inherited that from my mother, that I like to hear people's stories. When I'm out to eat at a restaurant or something, I'm asking like the waiter, "Oh, so do you go to school? Like, like do you do all the things? Is this your only job? How do you like the job?" Like I just love to talk to people. I really do. And mainly I love to hear stories. Every story is inspirational. Every person has a spark to share about their personal story. So that's part of it. And then I noticed in early middle school, high school, everybody used to call me and ask their personal questions. I don't know why. I guess because I do like to talk to people. Um, then I took a psych course and liked it. And then I went to a community college and I just loved the topic and I started to do well in it. And a psych professor at Nassau Community College. I'm always chatting up waiters. Yeah. Anyway, and I had an inspirational professor at Nassau Community College, and I just like kept doing well in psych, and that's it. But underneath it all, I get from my mother the desire to know people's stories and talk to people, and the social aspect. And from my father, I think my father was very wise and quiet and like learned, and like you could always expect a good answer from him, like a well thought out answer. So between the two, that's what I inherited.
It's almost like you were genetically bound to be a psychologist.
Genetically programmed like an android, like in Blade Runner. I had to be a psychologist. But yes,
I love
it's
that.
coming through. I'm just reading some. Go Islanders! Yes, they're doing real well, Islanders.
Gemma says that her whole life she's been told that depression is a choice and she should just snap out of it.
Yes, it's so incorrect. It couldn't be more incorrect. Now, that's not to say, by the way, like you have a choice of how you react to things, and you have a choice to improve yourself and to get better. And you absolutely have a choice in that matter. But especially bipolar depression is a neurochemical disorder. It's not a choice. So that's a falsehood. We do have some choices in what we can do about it, for sure, absolutely.
Have
But
you
like,
found, oh, go ahead.
no, I'm good.
Okay. I was just gonna say, some people are asking about medical marijuana. You have anything to say about that?
I Well, I'm gonna say something not so popular. Like in high school and everything, I tried pot. I smoked marijuana like for months and months and months. I don't see that it does any good. I think it never ends well. I think it's more dangerous than positive. However, for medical use, like my mom is in a nursing home and has no appetite, and they actually give her it's not exactly medical marijuana, but it has like cannabis in the title of the medication to improve her appetite. It's fine. I'd rather have her eat than not eat. So there's medical uses. Glaucoma is a total legitimate use. The nauseousness that comes from terrible chemotherapy and radiation therapy, absolutely. Like if it's going to comfort somebody, if it's going to help them, if it's going to like reduce pain for someone suffering from treatment for cancer, of course. Like who would say no to that? But it's definitely overused in terms of like it's okay for anxiety, but there's so many other ways and so many other things that don't have the connected carcinogens and like possibility of memory loss and judgment issues. So I'm not a big fan, honestly, and it's not a popular position, but you asked my opinion, so that's it.
Hey, none of my positions are popular, so it's all good.
There you go.
Uh, ADHD. Sonam has an adult family member who struggles with it and would like to hear your input on that.
I'm pretty much of an expert on ADHD. So it's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. To answer people's questions, because I know they're going to ask, it isn't definitely overdiagnosed, but it's a real disorder. And if people have it to the degree where it is significant, it will definitely impact your life. It's going to prevent you from concentration in school. It affects your reading. It affects your relationships. It affects your ability to concentrate and make decisions. It increases anxiety. It has comorbid things that go with it, like anxiety and like low self-esteem, because these people have experienced failure through something that's not their fault. So the best thing to do is to get evaluated for the ADHD to see what level you have, how serious it is, what type is it? Is it mostly inattentive? Is it mostly hyperactive? Is it motivational? So and we do have, we do testing and evaluation for ADHD, and then we know, okay, you do have a certain level of ADHD. If it's severe, we would recommend medication if it's affecting your life. If you cannot function, if you're failing school and every relationship ends in disaster because of it, of course, medication may help. So what can you do for someone with ADHD? You can have them evaluated, first of all. You can reassure them that, it's a real disorder. If you have it, you're not lazy or crazy or stupid. You have attention deficit disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, to be exact.
Right. And what about ADD, since it's kind of similar, right? Same thing there, or?
So they changed the diagnostic criteria. There is only ADHD. That's the only thing there is.
Okay.
Attention deficit. And then the subtype is with hyperactivity or with inattentiveness mostly. If you're married to or going out with or whatever, connected with someone who has ADHD, you know it. Like it's obvious. It's something. It's an issue that must be dealt with in a relationship. Panic attacks are certainly a real thing.
Yeah.
So panic.
Go ahead.
Angels are short. I'm just reading some of the comments. They're funny.
Yeah, Geo Scholar, he's actually sent the most hearts in this broadcast, so thank you, Geo. And he's the one who said he was having a panic attack, and he actually used ASMR and was able to go to sleep.
Excellent. Basically, it's like whatever works, but it's good to get things that are like researched a little bit. I'm reading a comment. Panic attack. So here's my thing. You're gonna hear a theme, even though you guys don't know me so well, that anxiety is the easy thing to deal with. So in any situation, whatever the cause, if you work on the anxiety first, you'll start to experience a little bit of success. Anxiety is relatively treatable. Don't panic, just take a breath. So even I forgot the medical disorder that I just read, but if it causes anxiety, like you can't always do something about the medical disorder, but the anxiety is definitely accessible. You can do, like I said, breathing techniques, progressive muscle relaxation, cognitive coping statements, visualization, any of those things, they will work. They're not going to fix the whole problem, but they will take the anxiety down a bit. And if they don't work, if you're not capable of making that work, small doses of anti-anxiety medication is not the worst thing on earth.
Awesome.
It is definitely easier said than done. Absolutely. And I would never say anything otherwise. Practice. Definitely. So if I wanted to be a decent baseball player, I would probably have to practice for 7 years, like, personally. So if you want to be a good relaxer, you have to practice. And I'm sure in yoga, by the way, I have to stick this in, that my daughter is also a certified yoga instructor up in Buffalo, New York. It's a place.
Awesome.
So I'm sure in yoga, practice. The more you practice, the more you're poised and steady and balanced. And I may be using the wrong term, so forgive me because I'm not a yoga expert, but you're going to perform better. You're going to be more steady. You're going to be more solid, more balanced, more in tune as you practice. So relaxation is just a skill. It's simply a skill to practice.
Yeah, totally. I definitely agree with that. And I think yoga is something that has been proven to reduce anxiety if you practice it. Like you said, practice pretty much every day, or at least every other day, I would say. And what about the anxiety techniques? Because some people are saying, well, I've been trying these things for years and it doesn't help. And how often would you say they should practice like the breathing techniques, the muscle relaxation? Is it an everyday thing?
I have amazing news for everybody. It only takes 5 minutes every day, 5 minutes at night before you go to sleep. That's all it takes. It does take practice. Hi, Rescue Farm, how are you? If it's not working if you've tried like 10 different techniques and it's simply not working, and I'm not pushing this, but you might want to consider medication, because it may be systemic, it may be neurological, it may be like biochemical. I would also say, by the way, cut down on the caffeine, especially after 3 p.m. Don't drink coffee. Don't have a Coke. Don't have chocolate after 3 p.m. because it will keep you up. Some people are very sensitive to it. If I have a cup of coffee at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock with dinner, I'm up all night. Like I know that I cannot do that. 13-year-old son panic attack in spite. He knows how to relax and meditate. What can we do? So the relaxation, like I said, is easy. It's a first step, but there's more to psychology than just that. So if someone's having panic attacks, you may also want to like find out why. You may want to go a little deeper, like what caused the panic attacks. Is there some issue that's bothering them, some unresolved anxiety? Is there something they're worried about that they can't express? Is there some family situation that is causing the anxiety? Are they thinking about something too much and maybe it's like a little OCD kind of thing? So it's more, of course, it's more than just the relaxation techniques and the breathing and the medication. You have to get at the heart of the problem to some extent and see like about the coping mechanisms and the coping skills and the situation. So it's not trying to make it sound easier, than it is, but you have to dig a little bit deeper. If nothing is working, you've got to dig a little deeper. So finding a good therapist, I hate to say that, is key if the problem is ongoing and chronic.
Yeah, it's exactly like, oh, thank you, Sonam. It's exactly like yoga. Every yoga teacher is different. You have to find someone that you resonate with and vibe with. It's not like one yoga teacher is necessarily better than the other. It's just that we all have preferences, just like foods. And actually, speaking of foods, do you ever recommend any nutritional changes as part of the therapy?
Yes. So, like, I'm not a good example of good nutrition, but I do recommend like a basic balance of vegetable, like not any extremes. So a couple of things I recommend, like I'm not big on vitamin supplements because most of them don't work, quite frankly, but the omega-3s and the B vitamins are crucial and they do make a difference. So you don't have to take pills, but so what is full of omega-3s? Salmon, tuna, even sushi, those are all heavy duty omega-3 products. And what like B vitamins is like green vegetables have B vitamins. So I do recommend all the B complex vitamins and the foods that support them, and omega-3. That's, to me, I did a little research, and some of the scientific evidence says that those things help with concentration, focus, stress management, things like that. So good nutrition and exercise is obviously recommended. Yes.
Right. I think omegas particularly affect your brain. They help to
it affects the neurons and the synapses of your brain. So, but a good nutrition, good exercise, general healthy living, of course, we always recommend that. Absolutely.
Awesome.
It can make a huge difference.
Rescue Farm says, Ina Klein. Rescue Farm says, listening to a CD of a rainstorm helped. And you can read Ina Klein.
Yes, I do. I incline a tweet. I incline a tweet music. Yes, I do.
I love that. That's hilarious.
So we try to be like we're holistic in terms of we try to hit all areas. I'm not an expert in nutrition. I know some things very well, and I'm aware of the research, obviously, but that's not my expertise. But certainly, it's part of the therapy. Exercise, specifically yoga, by the way, and other general healthy things, and then the cognitive coping statements and the cognitive thoughts and the relaxation. If you do all of those things and you really do it, you go home and you actually practice, the chances are things will improve. And then medication. Oh, Supper with Sandy. Hi, Supper with Sandy. She's great. You should follow her.
Hi, Sandy.
She's actually my office manager, but she has her own scope.
Yay. Oh, that's a good question, Gemma. I'm going to ask that in 1 second, but we're about halfway through this broadcast. So I just want to say, if you want to comment in the scope again, so people can follow you and click your link and everything. Oh, and actually for people who just got here, if you're interested in anxiety, he has on his website, you don't have to sign up for anything. If you just go onto his website, I think scroll to the bottom and you'll see some anxiety techniques right there, right now.
Yep. So it's a very extensive. It's funny. I've had a website for so many years. Like when I first had my website, I would say to people, "Oh, go to the website." And it's so long ago that people would say, "What's a website?" Oh. So that's how old my website was. Seriously. So
that's awesome.
It's like 55 pages of nothing but information. There it is. Actually, you can click on it. pslongisland.com. Totally free, no gimmicks, no emails, no lists. Just do it.
Yes.
You have a further question, you could just either through the website or right here, just ask. We're very open, we're very social media oriented, and that's what we do.
Remind us when your
Thank
regular
you.
scopes are.
Oh, so the Monday and Friday at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. We have 2 scopes a week. Usually myself and 1 or 2 or 3 other psychologists, social workers, or marriage and family therapists. And then once in a while I have a secret scope involving tarot cards, I Ching, and angel cards.
Okay.
But it's a secret. Don't tell anybody.
Okay, I won't tell anyone. It's just me and you.
And further, if someone is on Long Island in New York, we're in Hicksville, Long Island, New York, which is a place. And if people are actually in New York and they want to stop by, we give them the tour of the facility, and then we buy them a hamburger and a beer if appropriate.
Awesome. I'm going to have to come down. I want a hamburger and a beer. We'll do a scope where we're actually together. That could be fun.
You're welcome anytime. We got plenty of space and all kinds of facilities, just like you do.
Awesome.
Only you do it yourself. I require someone behind the camera to help me with the technology. So I'm proud of you for handling OBS all by yourself there.
Thank you. I was just going to say, hey, I need one of those. Gemma says, does depression affect your memory? Her doctor said she has dissociation.
Okay, number 1, depression absolutely affects your concentration, your memory, your ability to function. Definitely. Dissociation is a little bit different, I think. Dissociation is when you don't feel connected to things, when you feel like out of it, like disconnected, like unreal. Depression, absolutely, that is a symptom of depression. But depression directly affects memory and concentration. That's why, just incidentally, when we're talking about attention deficit disorder, you've got to be very careful and sophisticated as a psychologist or an evaluator. Because depression can mimic the signs and symptoms of attention deficit disorder, for sure. So the answer to that question is yes.
Wow, okay, I actually didn't know a lot of that. That's fascinating. Do you still do that lumpy mail that you did with the coin? I got that back in the day.
Yes. You mean if you want a free coin?
Yeah.
Is that yes, I don't have them with me, but we have like promotional commemorative coins, and it's free to anybody in the continental United States. In the continental United States, you can get a free coin. Just email me your actual address.
Only in the United States. Sorry, those of you in the UK.
The reason is because I mailed one to someone in India, and it cost me $55. So it was a $55 coin, and then he didn't get it, so I mailed it again. So it's a $110 coin he got.
Oh,
but anyway, yes,
gosh.
Anyone in the continental United States. If you want any free material, just call or email, and we'll send it to you.
Awesome. Now, can they work with you virtually?
Yeah, we do Skype sessions, and we do mostly Skype sessions or other social media type sessions. Yes, it's by a one-to-one arrangement with that. But yes, we're capable.
Awesome. So even if they're not in Long Island, they could still work with you.
So may I answer Sonam's question?
Of course.
Do pets help anxiety? Absolutely. So I have 5 dogs, as some of you know. I have 5 dogs. So the first and the second dog helped with the anxiety, and then the third and the fourth started to help a little bit less with the anxiety, and then the 5th one gave me anxiety.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the truth is, petting, this is actually a psychological study. Petting an animal, just the act of petting an animal on your lap helps you relax, for sure. Absolutely. Basil is my therapy dog. Cool. Yeah, dogs are great. Dogs have this like 500,000 year history of a symbiotic connection to man, and women.
Right.
You're a nurse. So yes, pets are a great idea.
Awesome. Honestly. That was actually my next question.
Oh, so we're ahead of ourselves now. Okay.
Yeah.
I answer questions in the future.
That's good. I think Sona might have read my mind. Beth, thank you so much for the super hearts. And yes, Rescue Farm, you were the one that gave me that idea because I saw you talking about how having a pet was helping you.
Rescue Farm is great. She even rescues turtles, which I'm very, very impressed personally by.
That's awesome.
They can sense more than cats. Well, I don't want to compare, you mean turtles can sense more than cats? Or no, dogs. Dogs can sense more than cats. Yes, they can. I think so.
Yeah, Gemma,
Huge.
I would just recommend going to the website and doing some of those techniques that he talked about.
Yeah, and there's also, so on the way, if I may, for a minute. So the website also has a thing on depression, on relationships, on attention deficit disorder, on assertiveness, and you could take a 10-item test on any of these topics. It's just a screening test. It's just to help you identify. It's not like a diagnostic test, but that's one of the fun elements of the website. Plus, we have the longest list of certified phobias in the world on our website. So a list of the phobia name and what the phobia is of.
Wow, that's so impressive.
405 different phobias.
What's the most common that you find?
That's a great question. So the most common is like public speaking is a big one. The fear, like a social anxiety. So public speaking, being in a social situation. Agoraphobia is relatively common. It's fear of the outdoors, fear of harm, really, fear of unsafe situations. Some of the more popular, fear of flying is a huge phobia. Fear of elevators or enclosed spaces, which is claustrophobia. That website again is pslongisland.com. Thank you for asking.
Awesome.
So those spider phobia, snake phobia, as you can imagine, those are relatively common.
Yeah, and definitely I've heard Sonam just said she doesn't like anything big bangs, fireworks, popping balloons. A lot of people with PTSD have that too, right?
Yes. So Sonam, I got to tell you something interesting real quick. One of my very first clients ever in my private practice, like 28 years ago, had fear of balloons. She came in and said she had fear of balloons, which is palophobia, by the way. Palo is Italian for balloon, I believe. So after just a few weeks, we realized it's not the balloons that she's afraid of. It's the sound. It's the startle effect. Because she said she's phobic on the 4th of July, and she's phobic of weddings. And the reason she was phobic of weddings is the champagne bottles popping. So it's very interesting. So yes, that's a pretty common one.
Wow, that's fascinating. I'm learning so much. Kev said he used to be terrified of flying and public speaking, and now he's a professor overseas.
Oh, cool. That's excellent. So believe it or not, I can't even say a little party popper, see? So I don't know, I don't think I had a phobia, but I used to despise public speaking. I remember sitting in the classroom back in grade school, and we'd be reading a book in the class, and I was freaking out. I would count how many kids were ahead of me, and I would try to figure out what paragraph was mine to read, and I would practice. And then some kid would go to the bathroom and be out of order. I was crazy. Of course, now I teach classes. I'm on Periscope, and I'm like, nobody can stop me from talking. So people can change. You can grow. You can overcome these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not unusual. Fear of alcohol. So a lot of the phobias that people think are so strange are actually relatively common. It's odd. Like fear of bees. Everybody thinks that it's weird, that like fear of clowns. It's like the most common phobia. And before the Stephen King movie, it's fear of clowns is a big issue. We fear because it meant we were defending our lives from the truck. Yes. So can I address that one?
Yeah.
I don't mean to take over your scope. I'm so sorry. You can't shut me up once you start going.
I'll just take a nap.
Do some yoga.
There we go.
Anyway, that some people say, like, the sound of nails on a chalkboard, that terrible sound that I hate. They say that has a primordial origin, that like cavemen back in the day, like before a tiger would jump on the caveman and eat him, the nails of the tiger would scratch against the stone and make that same sound right before they attacked them. So there's something to that.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I love learning about that kind of stuff that's like in our primal brains.
Yep.
And the reason he said that is because Ina Klein was just saying that that the reason we're afraid of public speaking, because way back when we were in tribes, that it meant that we were like defending ourselves in front of the tribe, maybe being on trial or something like that. So interesting theory.
So the psychologist that's responsible for that, so to speak, is Carl Jung. He thought we had a collective unconscious, that besides our personal unconscious based on our own childhood and life, that we, as a race, as a humanity, we have a collective unconscious, and I believe that's somewhat true. It kind of makes sense that there's some memories that are inborn based on our, million-year evolution history. So there's something to it. It makes sense to me. It's not even strange.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense to me too. It's really fascinating, and I think knowledge really is power, so it helps us to learn. History is important, I think. For public speaking, do you recommend Toastmasters for anyone?
Yes, it's actually a pretty good idea because that's what they deal in, Toastmasters. But trypophobia, I can't look at anything with small holes. Yes, that's more common than everybody thinks. I want to talk about that a second. Let me just, now I forgot the question. See, there goes my ADD.
Toastmasters.
I got yeah, Toastmasters. So public speaking, again, you work on the anxiety first, but then, so the main technique that we talk about is called systematic desensitization. So eventually, in small steps with relaxation, you get them to be exposed to what they're afraid of slowly and comfortably, and paired with relaxation. So we have one therapist, Victoria, in our practice, who that's her specialty. So she takes people out to go to places that they're afraid of and start public speaking. She doesn't throw them in front of an audience, but slowly but surely she'll have them like talk to the guy next door, talk to the store owner, whatever. So we have specific techniques for that kind of stuff. I want to go back to the holes. The trypophobia is, believe it or not, I've heard it like dozens of times already. It's not fear of holes. It's when you look at something with holes, you start to get anxious. You start to get like a stomachache. You start to get dizzy, and it's odd. It's sort of focused on medical issues with holes, but then it transfers, it generalizes to other things with holes in it. And like when I look at online, when I see like the pictures that freak them out, it sort of is a little disturbing somehow, and I can't explain it. It's really odd. But yes, it's a known sonum. It's a known thing, and it's relatively common. It's not unusual. You get physically sick. I'm looking at a Logitech microphone, and there's holes on either side where the two little microphones are, and I'm getting sick. It's like induced phobia.
We have the same camera.
Yes.
I'm using the exact same camera with holes in it, Sonam. Don't buy this camera.
Right. Yeah, don't buy the Logitech. What is it? The
C920.
Right.
What is EDMR therapy? Oh, sorry.
I'm just reading the comment. Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Angel said EDMR therapy I was supposed to do, but when I got a little dose, I freaked out and didn't go back.
I know what that is. So I'm not an expert in this by any means. It's like you follow someone's finger. Is that the one? It's like it has to do with like eye tracking. Like you track some objects, or you use lights to track objects, and it sparks old memories, and then you deal with the old memories. I'm sure I'm butchering that definition because I'm not an expert, but it seems to be recommended for deeper seated problems, but like it can induce like nausea. It's a very odd thing.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, because
I wish that I was sponsored by Logitech. That would be kind of cool.
I just said the same thing. I was like, that's a good idea, Kev.
Sponsored by Bear Burger. No.
What is that?
Therapy. Vibration therapy? That's EMDR. That's not what I know as EMDR, but it could be a branch of it. I don't know a lot about it.
Yeah, it sounds like you were. I was just going to say, it sounds like you're spot on. EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy.
Sounds good to me. Yes, I believe that's correct. Thank you. That's the second comment I've got on this shirt.
There's been a lot more. People wanted to know where you got it.
My shirt is sponsored by Express Incorporated.
Sponsored.
I think it's Express.
What do you think about solfeggios? Can they help?
I'm going to claim ignorance on that one. I don't know what that is, but
it sounds like a restaurant to me, like an Italian restaurant.
The chicken piccata is what I would recommend.
Thank you for the Super Hearts rescue.
Oh, you got a Super Heart. That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. If you tell me about it, I'd be happy to look it up and figure it out. But I'm not familiar with that off the bat.
And what about lithium? Someone just asked about
Oh,
lithium.
so lithium is lithium is prescribed for a more serious issue. Um, I believe it's prescribed for depression or severe anxiety. That's not a casual medication like um, Xanax is a little more casual. Xanax is prescribed for anxiety disorders. It's a short acting. It acts like for 4 hours. It just reduces the anxiety. Lithium is a more serious medication. It would only be prescribed by a psychiatrist who knows what they're talking about, and only for serious issues. Immersion therapy, going on flying. Okay, immersion therapy is the same as systematic desensitization, but they skip all the steps and they put you in the airplane. We don't do that.
Wow, that's awesome.
I got this black paint all over my shirt, and I don't know what to do.
Oh, so many awesome comments coming in. It's so fast. Oh, solfeggios are sounds.
Are cells?
Sounds, like audio sounds.
Okay. So, I mean, there's many kinds of sound therapy. That makes sense. It prescribed for bipolar depression. Correct. You're correct.
And what about fear of spiders?
Very common. Arachnophobia. I think that my producer has arachnophobia. There is a nasty spider in this room that lives on the ceiling. It's a jumping spider, and it's like lives in the ceiling. So arachnophobia is fear of spiders. It's very, very common. It's probably among the top 5 phobias that is ever reported. Lithium salts attenuate the manic episodes in bipolar people. Yes. So some of the medications for bipolar depression, you have to be careful because they can actually, if someone is in a manic state, a hyperactive state, you don't want to give certain medications because it could actually induce suicidal thoughts. So you have to be an expert in that. I cannot explain the process of EMDR except that it's eye tracking. It's like eye movement that helps you get at older memories. That much is definitely true, but I don't know a lot about it. So I apologize about that. First flight. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of immersion therapy. Like you say, okay, your fear of elevator, let's go to the elevator. Like, so we would take like 100 steps between. A spider scope tonight. Those spiders would, so the indication of a phobia is you think about it a lot and you anticipate it before it even happens. So if someone's spider phobic, they would not have liked that those emoticons there of the spider. They would like start to get uncomfortable just seeing that.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. And what kind of things could they do to manage that, do you think?
Again, so I can tell you just slightly the detail. Yeah, clown, very, very common phobia. The details of going into the systematic desensitization. So arachnophobia. So first, literally, you would type the word spider on an index card and put it on the table and just like have the person relax and deal with just that being in the room. Okay. Then you might have a drawing of a spider, and then you might have a photograph of a spider, and then you might have a YouTube video of a spider. And eventually you might go to a pet store and look at a tarantula. And ultimately you might, as they get more and more comfortable, you might actually have them put a spider on their hand. It is possible. That is the ultimate goal of systematic desensitization, is to have them comfortable in a variety of common situations, not necessarily having a spider on you. ABA, okay. ABA you want to know about ABA? You want me to answer that question?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so ABA is applied behavior analysis, something like, oh, thank you. That was nice of you, Angel Sarah Short or whatever. So ABA is specifically for autistic individuals who don't respond to general therapy. They're typically nonverbal. So ABA is very strict. It's very systematized. It's very structured, where you basically give little rewards. Shout out to the guy behind the camera. Good job. That's you, Michael. We appreciate. He elevated us from a little scope to a big scope. Anyway, so it's very specifically rewarding very little behaviors. Like even if the person looks up at you, you reward it. If they engage you or put their hand out or say hello, you reward it. It's not my style, but it is very effective for kids who are severely autistic. It's a well-known and very common technique. It's nothing unusual. And there's ABA specialists. They're not necessarily psychologists. They're ABA specialists.
Right.
Very very specific audience.
Yes, actually 2 days ago I had the Sassy Survivor, Janelle, on here, and
I
she's
love her.
actually, yeah, she actually became an ABA like 6 months ago.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, our scope actually got featured. That was World Mental Health Day, and we talked
Yeah.
about what she does with ABA. We talked about positive psychology, which I want to get your input on, but I'm going to forget to read Ina Klein's comment, which is he was asking about transcranial stimulation.
I know what it is, and again, if it works, it works. I would be a little careful. I don't know that there's a lot of research on the effectiveness of it. I don't want to put it down because I don't know enough about it. Um, and so it's mild electrical stimulation to help depression and anxiety. I'm not sure. I don't want to speak if I don't know.
Okay, yeah, no, I hear you. And positive psychology, so that's something that I've been kind of studying for the past, I don't know, 7 years or so. What do you, is that, it sounds like that's a lot of what you guys use there.
Yeah. So, okay, although we're cognitive behavioral psychologists, like I said, CBT, that's the main thing we do. That's our framework, that's our structure. However, we use a lot of other modern techniques like ACT, DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, positive psychology. Of course, we use that. Like, it's just like generally staying positive, generally looking at the positive side of life and uplifting things. And so, yes, I can't say I'm an expert or certified in that particular type of therapy, but it's mixed in, and certainly we stay current.
Right.
I don't know, who is this guy? He's saying,
Well, who are you?
Tom, I think you've been on my scope. How could you not know who I am? Anyway, um, Animal Farm, yes. Oh yeah, you can get over all your fears if you visit Rescue Farm. Can I just say something about the Sassy Survivor for 1 second?
Of course.
She's amazing. That's all I got to say. She's just stunning. She's amazing. So I'm Fred Holtz. I'm a licensed psychologist here in Hicksville, Long Island, New York. It is a place. We have a website, pslongisland.com, and we have a Periscope called Peritherapy or Theroscope, and it's every Monday and Friday at 1:30 EST, Eastern Standard Time.
Awesome. I'm not a psychiatrist. He's a psychologist, and I'm actually just a
That's right.
certified yoga teacher who I want to bring on other positive, awesome broadcasters that actually have quality scopes that they do where you can learn from them and leave the scope actually smarter and happier and with actual practical tools, which I really appreciate.
And with
Um, and with what?
a hamburger.
Yes, and a
You can
beer.
come visit. You
Um, oh crap, that the hamburger distract me. Oh yes, I remember one of the first scopes I saw of yours, which was about. Um, let me just read this really quick. Beth says, "Fred, I just want you to know that I am now a diehard fan, and it is my mission
oh,
to share you."
that's very nice of you. We appreciate that.
Yes,
That's great.
yes.
Hi,
Oh, thank
Bonnie.
you, Tila. And everyone said we're making them hungry now. It is lunchtime, isn't it? Um, marriage, that's what you were talking about. Relationships, marriages, that's something we haven't really talked about much here. We have um 5 minutes.
You can't stop me from talking. So, what about marriages and what about relationships? They're very difficult, very stressful sometimes, but worth it. Progress is. Ask specifically, what about relationships?
We didn't get any specific questions. I'm very happy in my marriage, and relationships. I guess one of the questions I thought was interesting when I had watched your scope was how do you find that men or women tend to cheat more, and how often do you find cheating to be the problem that they're coming to therapy for?
I think that scope was called like cheaters or something. Well, sadly, the women are catching up to the men. Like, so it used to be like, men cheat a little bit more than women, like probably I don't know, 60% more. I don't know, but now it's getting really close. and the statistics are getting like, it doesn't even matter anymore that people just cheat a lot. So I can't really say that men cheat more than women, maybe a little bit more. So, so there's someone named John Gottman who's an expert in marriage counseling and preventing divorce and all that stuff. He became famous because he took 5-minute videos of a couple discussing something, okay? And based on that video, he could predict with 80% accuracy if they would get a divorce within 5 years or not. So he was made famous for that. And so he discusses elements that are, first of all, elements that are predictive of a disaster of a marriage and elements that predict a happy marriage. So women cheat. Yeah. Anyway, so some of the things that predict a happy marriage are when people are into each other's lives, when they listen, when they don't use, I'm just trying to think of the right word, when they don't like roll their eyes or give like derogatory comments, when they argue and there's a resolve to the argument, when they know each other's interests and lives and dreams and stuff like that. So like it's fascinating stuff, and his stuff is available to the public, not just researchers. He's got like 5 or 6 books out, and I would highly recommend any book by John Gottman about marriage.
Awesome. I definitely wrote his name down. Oh, go ahead.
The word, contempt. So like when people show contempt for each other, it's a bad predictor it's a predictor of divorce, basically.
Yeah.
Don't use shame, blame, or guilt. Okay. Some of you must know about this because he's pretty popular. If you're not happy with your relationship, leave. I would say if you're not happy with your relationship, spend some time to work on it. Give yourself a limit. Communicate with the other person. Yeah, marriage books. Communicate with the other person. Be open. Don't wait. And give it a certain amount of time before you just give up. But I don't recommend just giving up, of course.
Good. Yeah, I like that advice. Do you use personality typing? Go ahead.
We use personality tests a little bit. I know what you mean, but don't cheat, period. How hard is that to do? Well, that's why you're a scholar. See?
Bonnie says that she's... Go ahead. This is different.
Right, I'm sorry.
This is actually really on a different topic, so if you want to finish with something. Okay.
No,
she said that she's the mom of adult children, and she misses talking to her kids.
Your mom of adult... Okay, so I would ask... So why don't you just talk to them? Why don't you set up a time to call once a week or twice a week or whatever?
I love it.
But is it like empty nest syndrome? Because that's a thing. You're used to treating them as kids. You're probably a nurturer. You probably love nurturing and helping and just engaging with people and being empathetic. That's the part you miss. You miss being vital. So I would say find something else to be vital about, but also like be upfront with your kids. You should just say, I miss talking to you. Can we set up something where we could talk once in a while? Keep it simple.
I love that. I'm sure
they're loving the scope. All right, M. McGovo. Thank you. Yes, or talk to your kids without moms. Oh, talk to kids without moms. Good idea.
There you go.
So do volunteer work at like a medical facility that works with kids. You'll feel very vital. You'll feel like you're doing something very important.
I love that idea. Hey, Ed, you got here just for the end. We're just about to end this broadcast. If you want to, I'm sorry. If you want to comment in the scope again so people can follow you and click your link, I'm just going to repeat it again because I think it's really important. He has practical tools for dealing with anxiety right at the bottom of his website. You don't have to sign up for anything, pay anything. You can get those tools today, right now, to use every day for 5 minutes, right?
Yep, we're working on this stuff on anxiety, depression, relationships, ADHD, assertiveness, and as well as biographies with all the staff. We do Periscope on Monday at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time and Friday at 1:30. And we're putting the information on our screen right now. So just wait one moment and you'll be able to click it. And I want to thank you, Taylor, very much. I watch your scopes. You're such a lovely person, all positive. It's just engaging and just simple techniques and just a pleasure to watch. So I thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I enjoy your
Thanks so much.
scopes as well. Okay, so here's the thing. He can't see me, so that's like it's hard to sometimes communicate when you can't see the other person. I also want to say big thank you to Beth, Gemma, Mike, and Rescue Farm for the super hearts. Really appreciate that. Hi Raquel. We're just ending this, but make sure you follow him. I missed. Did you already comment in there?
I think we posted the comment. Yes.
Okay, good. So follow him. And his name is also in the broadcast title. And I also tagged him on Twitter. So if you go to my
Ooh.
Twitter, you'll see that while you're there. Follow me, follow him. Subscribe to my YouTube, Instagram, everything. Oh, what other social media are you on? Anything else they should connect with you besides Twitter and Periscope?
We're just everywhere. We're taking over the universe. So just like we have a website, we have Twitter, we have Facebook. Just it's all like linked together.
Perfect. And shout out to Geo for sending the most regular hearts. You guys are, oh, they want to know, is there going to be a Halloween Periscope?
Sure, why not?
All
You
right.
just inspired me. We will have a Halloween
Perfect.
turn.
I
I
love
promise
that.
you. I'll be in costume.
Oh, I'm excited. Me too. Oh, it's exciting. All right, and then maybe sometime in the future you'll see us actually together, eating burgers, drinking beers, talking about
Uh, so good.
psychology, philosophy, everything. So thank you so much for coming on, and hopefully we'll do this again sometime in the future.
Thank you, Taylor. Anytime, just call me.
Great. And remember, everyone, you're all worthy of being loved and feeling comfortable in your own skin. This has been a moment in time with Taylor and Perry Therapy, Therascope. Follow them. They are a group of psychologists, I believe 10, predominantly female. So yeah, get in on it before their
Thank you very
before their
much.
schedules are completely full and they have no more room. Get in there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching.
Bye bye.